be very, very careful who you hang around with. I mean, relationships with people, you know, whether that's in business, life in general, you cannot hang around with toxic people and expect good things to happen. There is an argument to be had that hanging around with high value people is something that will enable you to emulate high value behaviors. When I say high value individual, it's very easy to think of millionaires and executives as being high value people. But it's not down to what they earn. It's down to how they view themselves, how they conduct themselves, the behaviors that they have which make them successful. You know, things like discipline, things like consistency, things like ultimately being able to see a situation for what it is. People that hang around with toxic people do one of two things. They either become toxic themselves, or they allow toxic people to drag them down. If you hang around with people who expect of themselves success, you know, they expect, you know, they hold themselves to account. In some respects, I do fall into that category of being, I hold myself to an extremely high standard in terms of morality, in terms of how I conduct myself, how I let people see me. I'm very down the line. It's not my intention to impress anybody. Anybody that knows me will tell you that I couldn't give a sugar frosted about how people see me, and I got absolutely no problem in letting them know about it. There is, you know, there are people in this world, very sadly, who no matter how well you treat them, you know, the sorts of time you give them, they will ultimately try their level damnedest to bring you down. There's, you know, we've all had that friend that you've tried to tell them good news, and, you know, there's a veiled way of conveying that, yes, you've succeeded at something, but they're not. You can tell there's underlying, over time, you can tell that there's underlying resentment that you've succeeded, that you have pushed through your fears, okay, that you've achieved what you've achieved, and ultimately they haven't, and there's underlying resentment. I've also had it where people I've told them bad news, and rather than sort of listen and hear what I have to say and take on board the fact that there is bad news, and in an effort to sort of try and help me process it, help me come up with a solution in terms of sort of convey that they are gutted for me as well, there have been people who will turn the situation around, who will say, oh, well, back in my day, or, oh, well, I had it different, oh, I know exactly what you mean, blah, blah, and then go on to tell them the story of how their woes, you know, almost are equal to or eclipse what you're trying to tell them. These people are not friends. These people are an audience. They're a sounding board, and ultimately, you know, will reflect what you give them back at you. And the same is to be said about friends. They will reflect back at you what you give them. If you give them support, if you encourage them, if you give advice, help, caution against certain actions, as long as it's from a place of compassion, you know, and love, or even general concern, those are friends. And you can count them on this hand. I have a very small circle of friends, people that I trust implicitly. There are very few people on this earth who I count as a friend. Very few. And that's a choice. That's a choice I make. Because I don't want sounding boards. I don't want people that will give faux, that will give faux concern or anything like that, or people that sort of snipe at me from the background. I've got no interest in them. They do not benefit me. Having that kind of person in my life does not benefit me in the slightest. So why would I let them bring me down? You're almost giving someone ammunition to bring you down. The people that I have in my life are high-value individuals in the sense that they hold themselves to a higher moral standard, moral code. They hold themselves accountable. They do what they're going to say. They say what they're going to do. And when it comes to, your word being your bond, that is the kind of individual I want to hang around, because that is the kind of individual I want to be. Yeah, just be very snippy and cut these people who are toxic completely out of your life, and you'll be very, very surprised at just how quickly your life will turn around. It's no coincidence that professional athletes hang around with professional athletes. Celebrities hang around with celebrities. People who are self-employed hang around with other people who are self-employed. Millionaires, billionaires, all hang around with each other. Why? Because the similar things that drive millionaires drive other millionaires. Because the similar things that drive professional athletes to perform at the high standard that they perform, they hold themselves accountable to other people within that sphere. You will never be criticised by someone who is doing better than you. So all I would say is, the takeaway from this video is ultimately surround yourself with people who have your best interests at heart. Cut out the people in your life who are toxic. That's not to say, you have to be ruthless about it or be rude or discourteous. But here's the thing, you want to find out who your friends are, go through your phone book. Find someone you haven't spoken to in 12 months. Ring them up and see how the conversation goes. Because if someone genuinely wants to hear from you, you'll know. If somebody wants to, be genuinely happy for how life has treated you. Let's say, if you've been successful in an area of your life and you tell someone good news, are they genuinely happy to hear that you've done really well? Or is there veiled animosity, or is there veiled disappointment that they've not achieved the same as you, for argument's sake? And also, if you're telling people bad news, do you get the feeling where someone's almost said, "Well, told you so. Told you it was a bad idea. Oh, I did try to warn you." How many times have you actually asked someone, spoke to someone, given them bad news, and they've actually turned around and said, "Well, I did try to warn you." That's not the actions of a friend. That's the action of someone almost going, "Told you so." Just think about the interactions that you have on a day-to-day and the sorts of people you hang around with. And once you become conscious of it, you sort of soon realise, actually, the number of people you have as friends is very, very small. Professional athletes hang around with professional athletes. Millionaires hang around with millionaires. Veterans and former soldiers hang around with other veterans and other former soldiers. And the reason that they do that is because no one understands what you're going through like someone else in that exact same position. Some people I know who have gone to groups to get sober, like Alcoholics Anonymous and all this sort of stuff. They hang around with other people that are going through the exact same struggles as them in an effort to get better. So who is in, just have a look around your social circle And instead of calling it a social circle, call it your support network, because those people that you know that are your friends, it shouldn't be called a social circle. A social circle is who you hang around with. A support network is a group of people that have your best interests at heart. Don't have a social network, have a support network. And on that rather contrived bombshell, I just wanted to say to everybody that has subscribed to the channel, a massive thank you to the support that we've received. Over the 1,000 subscriber mark, which is amazing, that there are more than 1,000 people prepared to listen to me prattle on about all things self-employed, etc., particularly within the exterior cleaning industry. So a massive thank you to every single one of you that have subscribed to the channel. And hope you guys are keeping well. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment if you like the video. Any future ideas for videos, always welcome, always a suggestion. Yeah, keep on keeping on, boys and girls, and I shall see you in the next video. All the very best.